we have Julian, and it's from
Hello,
Cherokee Redmex. Is that right?
that's me. Yes, yes,
Okay, so
yes.
is that just you, or are there a group of you?
Right. It's pretty much just me and a group of friends because it's something that I just started off as a thing for a vehicle for songwriting. Thing for you know this yourself. You write songs and you need a vehicle for them to present them to people.
Absolutely.
So I thought I was going to make an Americana sounding band to promote the songs. So when I go and promote as Cherokee Redmex, I have a group of friends I call upon. And if they're available, they come and help me. So it's pretty much me and a group of long-standing musical friends.
Which is good. It's people you can like
It's
trust
great.
and work with.
It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, yeah, they're great, good friends, and then for years and years, and we're sort of, we know each other's funny ways, and we kind of, I know what they're going to do next, and it's great.
Yeah, brilliant. And so, are you the key songwriter then, or do you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
There's me. There's a couple of friends that had contributions, but the country music side has sort of taken me by surprise, really. Because I wasn't. I thought it might fit there, but I didn't really delve into that area.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure. I thought it was more of a folk thing, or I really didn't know. And we were doing more kind of in the rock direction. And if truth be known, I was thinking about this recently. I could probably do two albums, do a rock album and a country album, complete separate things. They'd both be the same band, but with a slightly different vibe.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you can. I think country music itself can lend itself to sort of subgenres as well, can't it? You've got the
That's right.
Americana, you've got the folk, you've got the country rock, and so on. I don't
Yeah.
like to be pigeonholed myself, so I just write what
No.
comes naturally. If it's country, it's country. If it's not, it's not. It's the way it is, isn't it? Are you working on albums at the moment then, or just
Yeah,
to
I mean,
see how it goes?
I've got loads of things I've written. I've always been a songwriter, and I've always written stuff, and I've got tons of stuff, tons of stuff. It's just a case of me getting myself to get my act together, and producing an album or two, as I think it's going to be now. I think it's going to be probably a country type thing and a rock type of thing.
Oh, that sounds interesting. So
Yeah,
Cherokee Redmex, how long's that been going for? That obviously your
uh,
brainchild.
it's about 2.5 years since I started it. I think I don't know exactly. Yeah, it's about that because sort of COVID kind of came along at some point and scuppered things. So yeah, it's been around for a couple of years, maybe a bit more.
Okay, okay, that sounds good. And you've got a single out at the moment, haven't you?
Well, the
Ish.
the funny the funny thing is, I've had a few singles out, and there's been a few things on Spotify, but
Yes.
um, I don't know what you think, but I found that with things on Spotify, it's difficult to gauge who your fans are because you might get 35,000 plays of a track, but then there could be 35,000 people that are fans of a playlist and not of you. You
Yes.
know,
No, I agree. Yeah.
so what I'm trying to do is try and engage more with people that might be interested in what I'm doing. As a fan, get them on board and come to gigs and stuff like that. So a more kind of engaged sense.
Yeah. Where are you based anyway?
I'm in North London, in Barnet.
North London,
Yeah,
Barnet. Oh, okay.
I
That's not
think you're
too far.
down south somewhere. Are you down in the south of England
Bournemouth.
somewhere?
Oh, yeah,
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Oh, nice.
Bournemouth.
Lovely.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
literally right by the sea. So yeah, I'm very
that's
lucky.
lovely.
We're
Yeah,
not
no, I
far
love
from
it. Area.
London. We're not
Yeah,
far away,
yeah.
is it, London from me? My husband's from Stevenage, actually.
Stevenage.
Um,
Yeah, I was there today. Funnily enough.
oh yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
how
In my day
strange. Yeah.
job.
Oh, okay. What's your day job?
Well, it's a very country music. I drive a truck.
Oh,
That's
okay.
very
Well, that
yeah.
fits.
That's very country music sort of thing to do, isn't it? Drive a truck during the day. So
And
yeah,
it's a
we
great
go
time
for
to write songs.
yeah. It's funny enough, while you're sort of driving along, the brain's going, thinking of songs. Um, yeah, I mean Stevenage. You go all around those lovely places. I went past the house of Chaz Hodges today.
That's
Bless him.
Hodges.
Chaz Hodges.
Yes,
Remember
yes,
him?
yeah. Yes, I do.
Bless him.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
he's another
I was
North
brought up.
London boy. Yeah, yeah, he's a great guy.
That's
He used to
right.
give me a lot of advice on songwriting stuff. He used to live in Stevenage. He was had a plot of land there, and lovely fella.
Did you ever meet him then? I should say him,
I
Dave.
knew him. It's funnily enough because we used to play gigs in Enfield and the old Red Lion. That was where he used to play. And he actually grew up around that area as well, Ponders End,
Ah.
and our paths never crossed. But we sort of knew each other. I used to send him emails and stuff like that, but I never actually got to meet him.
Oh,
It's
I was brought up. I
something I
was brought up
always,
in that.
yeah, yeah, I never got to meet him, but I did correspond and send him songs and stuff like that. And he was a great guy, great, great guy.
Yeah, yeah, it seemed to be. I mean, I've never met them, but I used to. My dad loves them. So he used to like. I was brought up on that type of music anyway, along with a lot of stuff. He used to have an album which I've got here actually on vinyl somewhere of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No,
yeah,
they were
it's
brilliant. I heard them. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just a typical old London music. It was just around a piano and good sing along stuff, good old fashioned sing
Well,
along
that
stuff.
guy's got such a history behind him. I mean, going back to Joe Meek, stuff like that. Where in the history with playing with Jerry Lee Lewis and
Oh God,
extraordinary.
yeah, it is
If you look into
extraordinary.
it,
Yeah,
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 amazing.
definitely. So you go out and play gigs, do you? Are you playing many at
Um,
the moment? Have you got anything you can plug so someone can come and see you?
right, nothing. I mean, what's happened because the thing that kind of got played a lot on the country radio was a track called Indian Girl,
Yes.
and it's a little bit different to the other tracks I normally do, and it's kind of changed where I'm going with the music really because Alan Watkiss, in fact, at Country UK, who was picked this up and started playing it, and I thought, well, I haven't really looked into this. Maybe I need to broaden what I'm doing, rather than just try and play down the Hope and Anchor and with a load of
Yeah.
punks. Um, I should be maybe. I need to look at this again and broaden where I'm going with this, and look at my audience, and look who might
Yeah.
be interested in this. Because it's difficult, as you know, it's difficult to be subjective about your own work, isn't it? And pigeonhole yourself and into who's my audience, and
Yeah.
it's a weird one.
It is. It's very easy to become lost, really, in which direction you're heading, because you find
Yeah,
that other people will pigeonhole you anyway. Like you, or you sound like the new this and the new that, or your music is very
how are you getting on
country,
with
or
your
it's
how are you
not.
getting on with your release? How about your release?
Yeah, it did all right. It was I released it last week, and it got to number 3 in the country iTunes chart. It's done all right. So it's the first track off probably an upcoming album. I've done a few
I
albums,
love
so
the cover art, by the way. The cover art is whereabouts did you take that? I'm starting to interview you now,
no,
and I've
no,
got to figure
no,
out.
it's absolutely fine. Actually, weirdly enough, that was taken in a car park. My husband is a designer. He does all my artwork, and he
Oh,
works with Ken at Country Music Social Media as well. He's done Paul Dukes
yes,
recently, and yeah,
yeah,
so if you need any decent artwork done, he's your guy. And we do discounts as well for Ken's
okay,
artists. But
okay,
yeah, it was basically the car wasn't actually there. I went in my car, which is just a Ford Focus,
okay.
and then he transports me into where I want to be.
The Dodge works much better. Yeah, yeah.
It does better than the Ford Focus,
The
yeah, and
Ford Focus couldn't have had the same.
just
No,
no,
yeah,
it's all added in the cliffs at the back and everything. So
yeah.
yeah, he does all my artwork. So
That's lovely.
but yeah, it's
Great,
done well. It's done up there. It's done all right. So now we're
excellent.
going to play at the end of this chat. I mean, I can imagine you have got some stories to tell because you've been going back a while. You've been gigging a long time, writing songs a long time. You've
Yeah, I've
probably
been
met
in
a lot of
sort
interesting
of.
people.
I say to people, I'm not in the first flush of youth. I'm probably more in the second flush of youth.
It's the best one. It's the
Uh,
best one.
the best one. And I've been playing music for a long time around London, home counties, and different bands, different things. I dep for people. I do lots of things. So this is the first time I'm really kind of focusing on what I do and what I do creatively, and stepping out from behind, the piano and or whatever, or the guitar, and doing my own thing. So it's I can't hide anymore. I have to come out and be the front man.
It does. Yeah, you can't hide it. You can't hide it.
No.
Are you born and bred London? No.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm a born and bred North London boy.
What is that, Barnet or?
I grew up in a place called Fortis Green and Muswell Hill. Did you
Okay.
know? Yeah, I lived around the corner from the Kinks originally.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's sort of down the road from the Clissold Arms. In fact, I'll be playing in the Clissold Arms in a little while, a friend's birthday party. So that's that's where I was born for my sins. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, there's nothing wrong with London lad. My dad's a Battersea lad.
yeah.
No,
No, it's lovely about it because there was the Kinks that lived across the road. I used to see them all the time, and I just took it for granted. And just around the corner, there's another house called Fairport, and that was the home of Fairport Convention. That's where they started up.
oh,
Um,
okay, that's interesting.
um,
Yeah,
so I just see all these people, like what's his name out of Fairport Convention, Robert Thompson. I see him walking around all the time. I just thought that was normal life. There's all these
yeah.
musicians wandering around.
Just wandering around. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's great.
everybody's life was like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know. I like that. I like that thought that people used to be hugely famous people, hugely successful musicians, are just going into local pubs and sitting on a piano and just playing
Well, they
playing
did. I mean,
songs. And
all those guys were wandering around. I mean, in those days, the Kinks were sort of nothing like the Beatles. The Beatles were the big sort of thing, and the Kinks were just the Kinks.
Yeah.
But when you talk to people, you know, well, like in America now, if you talk to people, so you live around the corner from the Links, oh wow, you know, you live next to the Kinks. So it's a big thing. But it's just people, you know, you see them wandering around.
Yeah,
And
which is
luckily the Cliff's Old Arms is still around, and they still have a thing dedicated to the Kinks in there. They've still got a dedicated spot.
so I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that sort of got all that history there. And of
Yeah.
course, weirdly enough, Fairport Convention, who my dad's a big fan of, one of their fiddle players who played with them for a bit, Tom Leary, actually played on one of my songs. He actually played on one of my albums as well. He played with
wow.
Fairport and Lindisfarne for
Yeah.
some time, and I managed to.
Was that the same guy that played on Rod Stewart's one of Rod Stewart's tracks, wasn't it? Or was that somebody else?
I think that was somebody else. I think Tom did. He toured with Joe Brown. He was touring with him up until the pandemic, actually. So I've got some somewhere in here. My dad's given me all his records, and I've got some Kinks and I've got some Fairport as well. I've got a complete selection of that. So, do you find that you're very influenced by that kind of type of music? Because you're very sort of you like your Americana, but you also got your folk style as well, haven't you? And you've got a lot of influences there.
My own taste is very eclectic. You know, it's. I described it to somebody recently. I said it's, if you can imagine it, somewhere between sort of Cole Porter and Nine Inch Nails. Yeah,
Brilliant.
It's quite wide. It's quite a wide sweep of things. So I'm very into jazz. I'm very into rock and roll, into rock, and I love storytelling. You know, and I think the storytelling part of it's been lost a lot in music, and I try to bring that back. I'm trying to bring in that kind of, you know, rather than just writing about, you know, broken love affairs or whatever. I'm trying to put human stories and different slants on them.
Which is what I like about country and Americana music. I mean, I say I'm very much brought up with it, and I love things. People like the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac. I love all that kind of music, and I think country and Americana, especially, is storytelling to a T, isn't it? It's absolutely.
I mean, I really love the sort of the Laurel Canyon era of songwriting, and you know, the sort of people sitting around with guitars and coming up with great songs, and you know, to me, that's the kind of golden epoch, if you like.
Yeah, and you're right. I think that's been lost along the years. I think, especially recently, it's also digital now, isn't it? And everything's put on digital. You know, it's digital. Spotify, which is great. It's a platform, which is great. But
I think it's not something.
No. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. So what we're going to do, we're going to play one of your videos at the end. Could you tell us the name of the song and a bit about it, if you could, please?
Yes, this is another song that I never got expected to be taken seriously by country radio. It's called Orange and Monochromatic Blue.
Great title.
The title comes from, if you remember those old Polaroid photos from the 1970s, I don't know, you're obviously not old enough to remember that. But,
I do Polaroid. Yeah, I do remember Polaroids. Yeah.
Anyway, the old Polaroid pictures, they turn a kind of orange and monochromatic blue with age. They have that sort of look.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from, and it's really talking about that era, talking about the Laurel Canyon era, and it's about a trip I went on with my parents to Scotland, and met some hippies there on a commune.
Okay.
And, living in a place called Sanyiling. I think it's still there actually, in Dumfriesshire. It's a Tibetan commune, and I met one girl there. I was only very young, and I was fascinated by her life. She's living in this little kind of hut, and you know, living on £5 a week national assistance, whatever they called it then, and that would go to the commune, and they all lived there, and they all sort of work together and cook, and it was an amazing place, and it just opened my eyes to all this world of, you know, mandalas and vegetarianism. And I was telling Ken about this actually. He's not a vegetarian now, but it was a great time, and it's like a very sort of you know, it stayed with me. It stayed with me for a long time, and so that song really is about that.
Wow, because it's a completely different walk of life to what you were living. It's completely different. It's like stepping into a movie set or something. It
was a bit like that. I mean, the weird thing is, I can remember going to this little house in Dumfriesshire with my parents, like a crofter's cottage, and I found this old bicycle, and I was riding around the hills. I was only about, I don't know how old I was, but and I bumped into some people, and I said, you know, where are you from? And they said, we're from Muswell Hill. So I thought, well, that's a small world, isn't it? And then they told me about they told me about Sanyiling. So I went back and told my parents, and they thought, wow, we're going to have to go and look at this place, and hence the visit and meeting up with these people. Yeah, it stayed with me all this time. I've always wondered what happened to her, and
Yeah. Wonder how her life panned
How
out.
did she get out of that hut? And or did
Yeah.
is she still there? Is she still there in
Yeah.
that hut?
Did she still there have children, and now they've got children?
Yeah, or
Or
just
yeah.
just been there, just eating, rice and living in a hut.
Living in a hut.
Yeah,
Be interesting, wouldn't it, to find out how her life actually planned out?
I
And
didn't know
to
her
this day,
name.
to this day, she'll never know that you wrote a song about.
No, she never told me her name. Well, I don't think she told me her name, and that's what I say in the song. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah, never knew her name. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a really nice way to end the interview, actually. It's been an
Oh.
absolute pleasure, Julian, to talk to.
Thank you.
talk to
Well,
you.
thank you. Yeah, it's great to meet you at last. And
Yes, we'll hopefully meet in the flesh at some point.
yeah, well, I'll come see you play when you're around.
Yes, and we're going to be doing, hopefully, with Ken, some country music social media little mini festivals and that as well. So scattered around the country. So we'll keep in touch to everybody about what's happening.
I'm looking for gigs as well. So if you think there's anything that's relevant for, if you listen to what I'm doing, you think, oh, that would fit with this, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just sent an email actually about the festival. So if you have a look at that, and if you're interested, get back to us and we'll sort something out, because we're looking to do a few over the next couple of years. So hopefully starting in the autumn. So thank you so much, Julian. We'll play your song. Do check out Cherokee Redmex. They're amazing. And there's some more music coming out soon. Thank you, Julian. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
When life was right where you were, nothing else would occur. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue. Remember the garden party by the strip, well, the journey was more about the trip. Spent many an idle hour just staring at the sky, never daring to ask the question why. When I think about those days, lost in an orange Polaroid haze, $1,000,000 and a day trip to the zoo, in orange and monochromatic blue. Don't think she told me her name. Never wondered where she came. Lived in a commune by the sea, being penniless, uncomplicated glee. She was as wild as the trees, a child doing anything she pleased. Some sort of spiritual quest, neither worshiper nor guest. Painting pictures in the air that only we knew were there. Hearing voices in the breeze, flutes, lampoons, birds and bees. her. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue.